In first century Judea, daily life was fraught with stress. Labor, scarcity, and Roman oppression weighed heavily on people. Merchants bartered fiercely, families struggled to feed children, and laborers toiled under the sun. Jesus observed these burdens, understanding how worry consumed their hearts. Modern studies show chronic stress triggers the same primal fight or flight response, proving our need for timeless solutions. This scene sets the stage for Jesus's countercultural teachings on peace. Jesus addressed stress at its root, proclaiming, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," Matthew 5:3. The Sermon on the Mount reframed security, not in wealth, but in God's provision. Psychologists now confirm that gratitude practices, akin to Jesus' call to rejoice and be glad, reduce cortisol levels by 23%. His audience, from fishermen to Pharisees, leaned in as he promised a peace not as the world gives. The hillside serenity mirrored his message. True calm begins with perspective. Look at the birds of the air, Jesus urged, highlighting God's care in creation, Matthew 6:26. A 2023 study found that observing nature lowers anxiety by 17%, mirroring this ancient wisdom. Jesus contrasted human striving with the lily's effortless beauty, teaching that stress stems from misplaced trust. The worried man in the crowd, gripping his cloak, represents modern workaholics, 75% of whom admit to losing sleep over tomorrow. Jesus' solution? Seek first God's kingdom, and all else follows. Jesus' parable exposed stress's origin. Shaky foundations. The foolish builder's sand-based house symbolizes materialism. A 2022 Harvard study linked materialistic goals to 40% higher stress. The wise builder's rock represents surrendered trust. As rain pours, the sand house crumbles, while the rock house stands. Neuroscientists affirm this. People with strong purpose, like faith, handle stress 65% better. The storm's chaos mirrors life's crises, but the lesson is clear. Build on what lasts. In John 13, Jesus knelt to wash feet, a task for servants. This act redefined power. Serving others reduces self-focused anxiety. Research shows volunteering decreases stress hormones by 15%. Peter's initial refusal reflects our resistance to grace. Jesus' towel and basin symbolize inverted priorities. A 2021 study found humble people report 30% higher life satisfaction. The candlelight's glow underscores intimacy. Peace flourishes where pride dies. The disciples panicked as waves swamped their boat until Jesus rebuked the storm. This miracle underscores faith over fear. Modern brain scans reveal prayer reduces amygdala activity, fear center, by 20%. Jesus' posture, standing calmly amid chaos, models resilience. The disciples' terror mirrors our reactions to crises like illness or job loss. Yet his words, "Peace, be still speak. Storms obey the Creator, not circumstances." For 12 years, this woman suffered medically and socially, Leviticus 15:25. Yet her faith moved her to touch Jesus' cloak, and she was healed. Studies show hope boosts immune response by 35%. Jesus' reaction, "Daughter, your faith has healed you," validated her boldness. Her story illustrates how stress dissipates when we reach for divine help. The crowd's press becomes a metaphor for life's overwhelming demands, but one touch changes everything. Facing crucifixion, Jesus prayed, "Not my will, but yours," Luke 22:42. Gethsemane, oil press, symbolizes crushing pressure. Yet surrender brought peace, a principle now backed by science. Letting go lowers blood pressure 12%. The disciples slept, avoiding distress, but Jesus confronted it head-on. Moonlit olive trees frame his agony. His resolved posture afterward shows peace isn't absence of pain, but trust within it. Post-Pentecost, the disciples lived Jesus' lessons, praying, sharing goods, Acts 2:44-45, and facing persecution with joy. Group prayer is shown to increase oxytocin, the bonding hormone, by 18%. Here, they break bread with villagers, embodying trust over hoarding. Their peaceful smiles contrast with earlier fear, proving transformed mindsets heal stress. The tree's shade symbolizes God's shelter, practical theology in action. Jesus declared, "The kingdom belongs to such as these," Mark 10:14, praising childlike trust. Neuroscience confirms children's brains default to trust until trauma rewires them. Jesus' hand on a child's head epitomizes accessible peace, uncomplicated by cynicism. Parents' joyful tears mirror modern relief when we release overthinking. The sunlit square with its playing children becomes a portrait of stress disarmed by faith.